All right. I've been seeing this new trend recently, and it is sandbox mode or creative modes being added or being included with new releases. Let's talk about it. So, obviously, right, you've had Fortnite, which had its creative mode since really, really long at this point. And they've been doing this for a while, right? They had their game where you could make kind of whatever, and now with UEFN and Creative Mode 2.0, it's just that but bumped up to insane amounts where you can literally play like COD or Valorant or any game, any other competitive shooter that you can think of. You could probably play it inside Fortnite. There is a Fortnite version that is actually not that bad to play if you want to play that. There is also other games, right? Battlefield has this portal, which kind of is hinting towards that, and then we're seeing that with Battlefield 6 or the new name, whatever it's gonna have, also is going to have a sandbox mode where users can generate game modes or types or whatever it is, and it goes on and on. COD just had something leaked, I think, regarding a sandbox type of game mode. Splitgate 2 that comes out literally tomorrow also has a end game sandbox mode where people are going to be able to create maps and remake maps and new game modes and do even more than what the game already has to offer. And obviously, right, from a games perspective, this makes a lot of sense, right? You're basically just telling the community, hey, yo, do the work for us instead of us actually making new maps or making new content. You can just do the work and it's free content for them. In the case of Fortnite, they really made it so that the creators have a really good incentive because there's a lot of money to be made with Fortnite creative maps. And they're just kind of giving it apart. And then they don't need to have as much people working on the game, or at least working on other parts of the game. They have just a main team probably working on the general battle royale and people working updates. But apart from that, they don't need that much people because they have creative. If you want to play something really different, you just play creative. You know, you don't need Fortnite to be that much content packed when you have a whole other system that is just working free money for them. And they're not like I said, they're paying these people indirectly, but they're only paying the people that make the work and also make the work. So if your map does bad and you spent 35 hours, they're not paying you a dime. But if your map does good and you have 10,000 players playing it every day, then obviously you're gonna make an insane bag. But it's all worth it in their eyes because that means that they're basically having an almost unlimited amount of people trying to make content on their game, and only the content that actually works is the content that they end up paying for. Y'all see where I'm going from with this? I'm not gonna say the words, but hey, it could be that. After that, obviously, there is just an appeal from the community side because that means that you can make game modes. That means that you can be a map creator. That means that you can just make a lot of other things. You can have custom lobbies, make mini games. Content creators love this. They love this because that means that you just have infinite amount of content. Because even if the game isn't updated, you can just go into creative and play, the whatever new creative game mode that is popping at the time. And I'm saying creative because that's the way Fortnite calls it, but it's the same thing for all other games. I made a video about Splitgate recently, and in the comments, this is part of the reason why this sparked up this video right now, is you guys have kept telling me how you're making maps for different types of games. Or different types of maps, from different type of games. I asked, I think in the comments, if somebody was gonna make a COD map or a Nuketown map, because I think that would be funny to be able to portal around Nuketown. And somebody said it's already done in Splitgate 1 apparently, but they're definitely gonna do it in Splitgate 2. All of this is great from both, like I said, the game and community's perspective, but I feel like we just need to remember that the game needs to not rely on this too much, because then it becomes the community making a game on the game and actually not getting the full benefits of it. I think it's great. I think it's a way of actually having, especially smaller or, sometimes one-man teams that want to make a game, but they don't have all the budget and everything. And they can use this as a baseline because something like UEFN is really good to start making games, or at least so I've heard. I don't make games, so I'm not particularly experienced in it, but I do play them, and I've played a lot of those type of games, and they're good. They feel very good, and I've been told that the game wasn't that hard to make. Apart from that, in terms of, I say, like the competitive scene wise, usually that doesn't really affect them because the comp scene doesn't care about community made modes, but sometimes it can be good for, like, for example, 1v1 maps or competitive ish game modes where you can hone your skills a little bit more. Having aim maps, for example, in Battlefield is pretty cool since you don't have a training mode. So somebody made an aim map. I hope training mode is going to be in the next Battlefield as a developed by DICE, but let me not get into that too much. And yeah, I just wanted to open up that conversation because I think it's pretty interesting. That's pretty much it.